Hello and welcome to week 8 of the 2020 WebCenter Half Marathon Challenge. We're nearing the end here. We're in the final third, but I will tell you that this has been an incredible process of learning how to be a successful, not only WebCenter owner, but also an unfranchised owner. All of the topics have been relevant to just building a business, and hopefully you feel that way. We've talked about so many concepts that will help you succeed in business. And certainly we just talk about how they apply to the Web Center business. Tonight's topic is certainly the same as all the others, so important, networking, right? How you can expand your networking skills and why is that so important? Well, let's talk about it, right? What's as equally important as starting with a names list or a candidate list? Well, it's adding to it. Eventually you will run out of those candidates. Eventually you will run out of leads, your pipeline will dry up, and then you've got to start all over. So if you can continue the activity of adding possibilities and adding candidates to your list, you'll never run out of potential leads, and you'll never run out of candidates to talk to about the business. You'll never run out of candidates to talk to about any of our retail products. You'll never run out of candidates when it comes to any web solutions or helping them with their digital marketing. So names in our business are the same as fuel in a car, right? It doesn't matter how great the car is. If you don't have fuel, you're not going to be able to drive it, and therefore you're not going to have any performance and you're not going to have any results. So, you start with a tank full of gas and you can drive the car, but once you run out of gas, you're going to basically stop, right? It just stops. So in order to keep that going, your business is the same way. You need to continually add and refuel by adding candidates to the list. So how can we do that? Well, how do we expand our names lists, right? It's an ongoing activity, and it is for the unfranchised business, but also for your candidate list with the Web Center division. We're going to talk tonight about consumer power, your power as a consumer. We're going to talk about your existing unfranchised organization. We're going to also talk about networking groups and how to leverage those. So we talk about being a consumer. We're all consumers, right? We're buying products and services each and every day. And while we would like to be a loyal patron, there's no problem with spreading out your spending, right? No harm in trying out new places because there's going to be new contacts, new potential prospects, new people that you might bump into. And I think we're all creatures of habit. So one of the things that you can do is just change your routine. And by changing your routine, we'll put you in front of new faces and new people and starting new conversations, even in the space that we're in today. So get to know more business owners in your area by trying out new products and services. So if you always fill up your gas tank at one gas station, go to a different gas station. If you always get your cup of coffee at one coffee shop, try out a different coffee shop. If you always get your lunch special once a week from one restaurant, try takeout from another restaurant. The idea is that when we get in this funk, we get in this confines of our own space, we're limiting our circle and our sphere of influence. So while we might have some great relationships, by just expanding our footprint, that will then expand our possibilities list as well. So I want you to think about, maybe if you are driving to work, maybe driving a different route, right? Even just driving a different route to your destination, you will come across what? New businesses that you drive by. You're going to go by new yard signs of maybe service businesses that are doing work on some homes in your area. Maybe there's other people commuting and you might run into some different trucks or vehicles that are lettered with businesses. You might bump into, another person that you haven't talked to in a long time. You never know. But the idea is you need to get out of the rut. And just by getting out of that rut, even in your consuming, then you have a chance of actually bumping into new people. You might even find that when you go to a different business, you might have some other businesses nearby that you weren't even aware of. Maybe they're new. Maybe there happens to be a space for lease or a sign in a window that says coming soon, and you would never have seen that opportunity of maybe a new business coming into an area because you were always going at a different direction or going to a different storefront. So spread out your spending, right? And that's going to be a tip. Certainly right now, it could be something that you might even look at some gift giving by going to some other areas. Now, if you're not sure, of some different areas that you can plug into or find some new services, ask for recommendations. Make a post on your social media or ask some friends and family where they go for, their cup of coffee. What's the newest restaurant? You're trying a new place. Where would you recommend? And by asking those recommendations, it gets you in the mode of trying to meet some new people. Now, what about your existing unfranchised network, right? Your existing organization is loaded with potential referrals and leads, right? So by getting your team working with you on a candidate list that they may know, you're going to have a source of warm leads. Now, they may or may not be focused on web centers or digital marketing. Um, so this is an opportunity where you're focused on web solutions and helping small businesses just by getting together with your unfranchised organization and helping them come up with the candidate list. It's much easier for them to give a referral to you and for you to contact that business based on that referral, which is what we talked about last week. So these contacts are much easier to walk through and to build relationships with, right? Everyone does business with people they know, like, and trust. So just by having that recommendation or that referral means that you are more likely to at least establish um, uh, some type of relationship with that new individual. So, and think of this: when your team effort finds those people to network with, you get credit for the sales and the BV and IBV generated. The whole team can leverage that, right? So all team members should get focused on candidates, and I would actually do that as a call to action. I would say get together, have a conference call, have a Zoom group, help them create a candidate list of businesses that they may know by doing the same exercise, by going through that 5C workshop that we do with WebCenter owners, having them generate a names list of candidates. Who do they know that owns a business? Who do they know that works at a business in a certain industry? Who do they know that might be well connected in the industry? And where do they go for a product or service? And by helping them generate 20 to 60 candidates, they become your leads as well. And then you can strategize how to create that approach where they can do a referral approach, recommend you to get in touch with that business owner. Now, a lot of people are leveraging networking groups. In fact, most of our top web center owners are participating in some type of networking group, right? Some type of professional business network, right? These groups are established for businesses to meet other business owners to create a referral relationship. And that's what you're looking for, right? So you can look at your local chamber of commerce, maybe a Rotary club, maybe a BNI, right? Business Networking International, maybe LATIP, maybe Toastmasters, a religious group. How about just community or town groups? Every town or area, metro area, seems to have some type of group online, LinkedIn or Facebook or otherwise, where there are businesses that are trying to let the townspeople know about their products and services. That's a great place to network. And other online groups, right? There are so many of them, but it's your job to kind of search and find them, right? So networking groups are a great opportunity to meet new business owners for sure. A lot of them might have a place where you can come and do a guest, you know, sit in as a guest and listen and learn and meet people, maybe even give your 30-second commercial. And then some of them do have a charge, but I will tell you that for the most part, an annual fee at any of the organizations, just by selling one website would more than cover the cost of your application or your enrollment with that club, right? That membership. I will tell you that beyond that, you could have one website sale that would cover you for that year's membership, but then the referrals that could potentially come from that one website sale um, are endless. Are endless. So really, it comes down to building relationships, and a great way to do that. A lot of people say, "Well, I don't know any business owners." Great, establish yourself in a business networking group. So how about networking events? A lot of them are happening online. There's some that are still happening in person, but how can you make the most, right? How can you make the most of any networking event? Well, I will tell you that one of the worst things you can do, I'll tell you what not to do first. What you should not do is go in with a stack of business cards and expect to hand them all out and for that to be an effective use of your time, right? The last thing you should be doing is thinking about giving your card. You should be thinking about establishing relationships and getting contact information. If you can build value, build trust, build some credibility, just really go in there and meeting people on a personal level, be genuinely interested in the people you're meeting and their business. That is the best use of your time, right? So number one, it goes both ways, right? Be open to learning about other people. Don't be one-sided. You never know where things could lead. In fact, I would say if you use more of an 80-20 approach, 80% of your objective in a networking event is to meet and learn about other people versus pitching, promoting your product or service. When you do that, you stand out as being someone different that's really focused on meeting people. And that's the key to networking, right? Listening to people and having them share their story, right? Number two, exchange information. Make sure to get business cards as well as give them. I will tell you the more important, again, 80%, 20%. It's more importantly to get business contact information, whether that's a business card, maybe just, hey, I'd love to send you a quick text message and stay in touch. That way we have both each other's numbers. What's the best number to reach you at? Send a text message. Now you're both in each other's contact database. Maybe friending them on some type of social network, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, whatever it might be. The idea is that you want to be able to be in charge of that follow-up process. And you can't do that if you don't have an email address, if you don't have a phone number, or if you're not connected to them on social media. You need to be in charge of that follow-up, because all too often we know that the fortune's in the follow-up, but if you're just giving information, you're giving out your card, there's no way for you to control that dialogue at that point, right? Number three, ask questions. Ask questions, right? Use the time to identify qualified prospects. And how do we do that? We don't ask, how's your website? How's your social media? We engage them in business conversations. And if you want to know what questions to ask, simply talk to some successful WebCenter owners. Really think about surface level things. How's business going? What are you doing right now in the economic climate? What's working well for you? What do you wish could happen? What's the main product or service right now that you're focused on? Are you expanding? What are your goals? What are your objectives? By asking those questions, it lets them know that you care about their business. And then you can get into the weeds a little bit, into the details after that. But the most important thing you can do is then just use that as an opportunity to introduce yourself, maybe your power statement, and then schedule a time for yourself and that other person to meet on a more personal level to take that networking relationship a little bit further. Number four, describe your ideal client. Focus on asking for referrals for specific industries. And sometimes by describing your ideal client, they have a better idea of who to refer you to. If you say, hey, right now we're really focused on working with restaurants, that person you're talking to is thinking of all the restaurants that they may know, right? You're more likely to get a lead or a referral. If you say, hey, we're looking to work with most small businesses in the area, there's not enough detail there, right? They know a lot of businesses, but they're not really sure, which ones to recommend you. They're not going to give you their entire Rolodex or the entire list of contacts. But if you say, right now we're looking at working with service-based businesses or towing companies or auto repair facilities, they now know that might have one or two quality leads to refer you to. But before you can ask for that, I always say you need to give to get. You need to make a deposit before you can take a withdrawal. So before you expect to get anything, you should be giving. And by giving, what I mean is you should be talking to them about how you can best help them, right? Ask them. The best question you can ask, could you describe your ideal client? If I were to refer you a lead, who would you be looking for? Can you tell me a little bit about the type of person or type of business that you're looking to network with or service? That way I might be able to, in my travels, have a better way to refer you business. And if you ask that, they are going to appreciate that. And your job, I will tell you, your job in the next 7 to 10 days is to find a referral, right? Someone you meet in a networking event tells you their ideal client. Your job is to find someone for them in the first 7 to 10 days, because now if you can provide a referral or a lead to them, you have now built an enormous value to them. And they realize that that talk was not just all talk. You are a person of action and a person of integrity, and you are willing to help them out. And you have delivered on that promise, which means that strengthens the relationship, and they're more likely to do the same for you, right? So once you ask that question, they may ask you who your ideal client is, but don't be afraid to let them know. Great, thank you for sharing that. I'll make sure that I reach out into my network and see if there's anyone that could use your products or services. No guarantees, but I will do my best. For myself, my ideal client is, and you let them know. But again, you need to describe who it is you're looking to get refers, right? And then 5, focus on appointments, right? There's never enough time to really pitch or sell any of our products or services. We're not just going in to try and sell a website or sell social media services. We're focusing on selling the appointment. And what is our first appointment? Our first appointment is a consultation. scheduling a time for 10 or 15 minutes in the upcoming week where you can learn more about their business and take the networking one step further and build that relationship is going to provide more value to you and the relationship. So how do you do that? Whether you've done that on the spot, hey, it's been great meeting you. I know that you want to network with some other folks here. What I'd love to do is find some time right now that maybe we can do a quick one-on-one. We can do a Zoom coffee chat or something before or after hours, maybe even during a lunch break. Let's just take 10 or 15 minutes. Would you be open sometime next week? Try and do it with a sense of urgency, right? Don't say, hey, maybe sometime in the future, sometime next week, right? If you can get that in the books within 7 days, it's going to improve your chances. Now, if you're in a position where it might be too busy, it's not really enough time to do that, and you don't really feel like you could do that in every single little meetup here in a networking event, then simply have that contact information. And your job is to contact these individuals in the first 2 to 5 days. In the first 2 to 5 days after the event, you can reach out with an email. Great to meet you. You can reach out on a text message or a phone call or social media post. Hey, it was great to meet you at the networking event. Did you have a chance to walk away with some value there? Do you feel like it was worth your time? Start a conversation. Then you can say, I would love to continue our conversation that we had started at the event. I'd love to learn more about how I can potentially help you and how we can build a referral relationship. How soon could we maybe grab 10 or 15 minutes and maybe open a cup of coffee or a drink, right? Now you're establishing the relationship and you're simply booking from event to event, right? Scheduling from meeting to a meeting. And in that 10 to 15 minute, it's actually the consultation. You're asking questions more specific about their business, their growth objectives. And then what you can do is say, I think we can help you out. What I'd love to do is schedule an appointment with a product specialist that can actually help you answer some of those needs in the meantime. And then you can switch gears back over to your objective in terms of clients that you're looking to get referrals. So it really could be a win-win-win scenario, right? And that's how you can make the most out of networking events. And it doesn't have to be a professional networking event. It could be a cocktail party. It could be a cocktail hour. It could be a happy hour. It could be any type of networking event, even if it's an online type of event, right? Very, very powerful way of networking is to establish value, right? And the more valuable you can become, you become more valued, right? It's interesting. So when you act this way, what you'll find is that you'll have other businesses start referring that people in that networking event speak to you. It's something that a lot of people would say that that's not the case. There's no way that would happen. It's just a story. But mark my words, if you conduct yourself in this manner in a networking event, you will have people coming to you and they'll say, hey, I was just talking to John. He recommended I come talk to you. Now, you might not even share with John what you do, but you made John feel special. You talked to John about John's business, so much so that John felt really excited about this relationship. So when he was speaking to the next, say, woman about her salon, he might say, hey, Suzanne, great to talk with you. You really want to make sure that before you end the night, you want to go speak with Jason or whoever, right? That will happen. So the more value you can provide, the more you'll be valued. Okay. Now, wouldn't it be great if you could just invite business owners to learn about our products and services, right? Wouldn't it be great if you could take your businesses in your candidate list and schedule them all into one overview? Schedule them into one demo appointment. Show them how great Oasis is. Show them how great our e-commerce solution is. Show them how great everything is. Wouldn't that be nice? Well, you have an opportunity that you can do that. And one way is by creating your own business networking event, right? If there's not one around your area, or even if there are, why not be the person that can coordinate and start your own networking group? So create your own business networking event. What's the purpose, right? To connect and engage with businesses in your community. And by organizing local businesses in a group to discuss any business objectives, strategies, referrals, you increase your value. You're the connector. You become the well-connected individual. You become the influencer in the area. Very powerful position to be in. And how can you structure this event? Well, a networking time, right? Time to network, meet and greet, maybe a presentation, right? It might be that you have different businesses present on a topic. Maybe you do it monthly, maybe you do it weekly, bi-weekly. Whatever it is, you can create the structure and you can say, hey, this week we're going to have 3 businesses in our area. Give us a little bit of an overview of what they do. and you tell them, look, you're going to have 5 minutes. And each of those businesses has 5 minutes to present what their offering is. And the next networking event, you choose 3 other businesses, or maybe it's one business gets 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever it is, right? After that point, then it's time to break off and do more networking and allow people to schedule follow-up appointments. Everyone should walk away with the opportunity to give their 30-second commercial, or even this week's objectives. What were my wins this week? Think about an accountability group for business owners, all independent businesses in different categories. If you ran them like an accountability group for your unfranchised business, think of the value to a business owner. It becomes a mastermind where you can say, hey, how was everyone's week this week? I want everyone to share one win. Everyone go around and share one win for your business. Maybe one week it's, hey, I want everyone to share one challenge. And next week, everyone's going to come to the table and we've got to have a solution for those challenges. Give them assignments. That becomes a very productive meeting so that people don't feel like they got to show up just to say, hi, my name is, the same 30-second commercial each and every week, because that's how they're used to their traditional networking groups running. And that's why a lot of these breakfast groups that get together once a week at 7 in the morning before business hours turns into a coffee club. Just a chance for them to drink coffee and share their story. And guess what? New businesses come into that and it feels very cliquey, right? Very cliquey. They don't have a lot of value because the relationships are already established. Well, if you can structure it this way in a new way, it keeps it fresh and exciting and everyone feels like they've got something to contribute, right? Now, you can also present some topics. What are some topics that you could present as a WebCenter owner? Well, the first is, how about our B2B digital marketing presentation? You can do the whole thing or segment into certain topics, maybe cover a couple slides, right? So you can go to unfranchise.com under support materials and download the B2B digital marketing presentation. And it instructs and teaches and educates businesses about what makes digital marketing so powerful. It talks about what makes a good website. It talks about search engine marketing. It talks about search engine optimization and how search engines actually work and search engine placement. It talks about social media. It talks about email marketing, right? Valuable concepts for free that you're going to provide that value to your local business group. When you do that, you'll easily be able to schedule follow-up appointments, if not with all of them, but with most of those businesses that part of that group, right? Could be social media 101, e-commerce, and then you can always follow up with how our product and our services can help, right? You always want to let them know. And these are the things that we specialize in helping businesses with. Thank you very much. Time to network, right? You never want to do a pitch or a promotion. You just want to let them know what you do and then move on. So networking events, networking groups, building your candidate list. Week 8 in the 12-week action plan covers this, right? So you want to come up with your 30-second commercial, right? It might be less than 30 seconds. It might be your what is it? For example, our business provides a solution, an all-inclusive digital marketing solution for businesses to increase revenue, decrease expenses, streamline business practices, improve customer satisfaction, and improve engagement. That might be it, right? Whatever it is for you. I would highly encourage you, find some networking groups, even if they're online, search them, find them on some of the social networks, join some different groups, see if there's something happening on a live meet and greet. There's a lot, it's called speed networking now, right? A lot of people are doing this online because they can't do it in person, but it's still as effective. And you can even do Zoom. And for those that have a Zoom subscription through their unfranchised business, one of the ways that you can do it is you can actually set up a meeting through Zoom, and then you can use the breakout rooms. So let's say you had 10 business owners on a Zoom. It's going to be hard for all of them to converse and have a conversation and speak over each other. So when it's time to network, you would simply create a breakout room and break it up into 5 different rooms. So 5 rooms would have 2 people, or maybe you could do it in groups of 3. I find that one-on-one is better than groups of 3, but you might do some mini breakouts where you might have 3 or 4 in a group where they might be talking about a subject. Hey, you know, we've got one business that has a challenge this week, and we're going to break off into little groups of 4 different businesses. We'd like to discuss this challenge and some potential solutions. And each of you are going to pick one person to come back when we come back to everyone and present your solution. Do that for 5 minutes. You end the breakout rooms. Everyone comes back to the same Zoom when you end it automatically. And then you can say, great. Group number one, what did you guys think about for, overcoming this challenge that XYZ Corporation's having? Great. How about group number two, right? You become the moderator, right? And that's how you can run a powerful, successful networking group online. So identify online groups, local groups, join them. Any type of group. It doesn't have to be just the chambers or the small business groups. It could be other groups that are focused in a certain maybe niche market, right? It might be a health and fitness group in the area. It might be a yoga lovers group. It might be a hiking group. Whatever group that you can network in will be beneficial to you. So again, all of this comes down to staying on task, staying on track, writing down your candidates, taking them through the process, following up. But I'll tell you that if you look at the sheet and it's blank, we know that what kind of results you're going to get. You're looking to be lucky. I'll tell you that if you are consistent in doing your reach outs each and every day, each and every week, you can't help but succeed when you just follow this process. So our challenge for the week, create or join a local business association group on social media, right? So search and find and then join a group or even create one yourself. Invite local businesses to the group. If it's a new group, right? If you're just starting it from scratch, you're going to then reach out and try and invite people to that group. You're also going to share it with your network, your existing network, and say, hey, I'm starting my own business networking group. Do you know any business owners? I would like to invite them, right? And leverage your network and your connections to try and expand that by having them invite their contacts to your business group. Once you've got the group established, or if you have a local business association, find out if they've got a virtual networking event or create one, right? Create a virtual networking group as a way for businesses to introduce themselves, their services, their products. Lastly, create a networking schedule and topics to discuss, right? So you might outline it. And maybe you're going to plan on 2021. The launch will be in December. And 2021, we're going to do a networking group and we'll meet once per month. And each month we're going to have different topics. And these are the topics. And you don't have to be the one to present. You could have a business associate, a business partner, someone within your team talk about a subject, or you could also pick one of your new members for them to be the keynote speaker for that month. But if you can organize it, think of the possibility. It's almost like a UBP, a monthly UBP or a monthly HBP, a monthly wellness event. It's just another event, but what is it? It's all focused around B2B services and digital marketing. And as a WebCenter owner, that is a great place to be in because you can get some really great reach because you're going to be talking to salon owners, health professional offices, fitness studios, gyms, spas, service-based businesses, right? So you're going to talk to your key market, your target market for candidates for your WebCenter business, but also you'll meet some great people for your unfranchised business. And one of the biggest things that we always hear people say is that they don't know the people. Well, I will tell you, the number one candidate for your unfranchised business is a business owner. A business owner, they're entrepreneurial. They already have business skills. They've got communication skills. They're already well connected. They're influential in the community. And they are great people to refer business to. So you can use that evaluation approach. And that's where I get excited about the WebCenter division because you are in a great position to not only grow your WebCenter business, but also to grow your unfranchised business network. And I think a lot of people get so focused in tunnel vision on their one division that they're not looking at the bigger picture where you can leverage this entire company, right? With the motives teams, the Nutrimetrics teams, the TLS team, the Shop Financial team, the Conquer Group, they're all doing so many great things that you can simply leverage what they're doing by plugging your contacts into those groups. And that's ultimately the benefit of being a product broker. So this kind of comes full circle between the unfranchised and how to network as well as WebCenter networking, but don't take this lightly. This is probably one of the most important topics that you can really revisit over and over again and also work with your team on doing, because if you have an endless stream of potential candidates for the unfranchised business and the WebCenter business, you can't help but succeed in a big, big way. So again, the challenge, create or join a social media networking group. Invite local businesses to join that group. Create a networking event, even if it's a one-off for now, where you can do an online Zoom and connect people. Lastly, look to 2021. Now's the time to start planning for the future and maybe doing a networking group on a weekly basis or a monthly basis or a bi-weekly basis, and maybe populate your first quarter kind of like the GMTSS so that you know what topics are going to be covered, because then people can get excited about attending that event. So I hope that you took some valuable notes from today's session. It is going to be recorded and pushed out. And of course, what you always want to do is stay in touch to the WebCenter Owner Support Facebook group, as well as if you have any challenges or have any specific questions, make sure you get in touch with us at the corporate email address of MA Web Centers at marketamerica.com.